Welcome back to the 11-foot long kayak 2.0. Alright, I didn't make it exactly perfect as far as the sanding goes, because I'm really going to beat it up in the marshes anyway, so I get it as smooth as possible and so it won't too terribly bad. And I'm just going to roll this paint on here. And I wanted to roll it versus spraying it. Now if I made it really super slick, I'd spray it, but it's not super slick. It's just an all-surface enamel. And you pick the one you want. I'm not endorsing this brand, even though I'm using it, but I don't, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm paying for this out of my pocket. So just do your research and pick you out a paint that you like, and all surface or industrial paint. If you got a really big boat, bigger than this, I would suggest that you buy a gallon, because if you buy a quart, you have to go buy one more quart, and it's going to end up costing you more in the long run for paint, because it's priced. 2 quarts cost as much as a gallon. That's just the way they price it. Always have. I thought about doing camo, but I'm not very good at camo. I can already see the hairs coming out of my roller. Man, that's okay. You just have to beat on a little bit harder so you won't notice the hairs from the roller. Oyster shells and things like that. And I want that orange peely ripple kind of thing, so it hides the sin of not finishing out with a 120 or just going whole hog on it. I'm not a automotive or marine boat painter, but when I want to get a color on my stuff, then I'll just grab some paint that I know will stick to the surface I'm working on, and that's what I put on it. Now when I painted, I did a hydroplane one year, and when I painted that I sprayed it with Emerald, and since it too was fiberglass, I sprayed it with I used high gloss white. This is bright as white as I could get. You could not see imperfections on that because it was out in the sunshine. It was so harshly bright, it was just insane to try and look at. So if your prep's not the best in the world, then go with a bright white. Yeah, it's really hard to look at in the sunshine, but at the same time, when you're out on the water, you get that glare back at you, so give that some thought too. You might want to go with the off-white or yellowish white, and you still get that clean look, and it won't be too harsh and bright to look at. Hopefully this paint won't take too long to dry, so I can second coat on it. Piece of straw or something, and will not allow me to pick it up. I can still see the honeycomb of the fiberglass mat, but that's okay. I'm going to walk over and look at the camera and see what your view looks like. That's not too bad so far. Let's scoot you up a little bit. when you paint it, you'll see stuff like that right there where I need a little bit more, another skim coat of Bondo if you're gonna make it perfect. Perfect takes a lot of time. I'm just really not willing to put a lot of time into a kayak that I'm gonna be pretty hard on, because I like going canoeing for oysters. That's where you find an oyster bed and you just pull them up. I learned that term about 2 years ago. Somebody asked me where I get the oysters. I said, well, I just float out there over a shallow oyster area where it's legal to take oysters. And reach down and start pulling them up. And he said, you know what that's called? I said, no. He said, cooning. Why do they call that? He said, well, that's the way the raccoons do it. I said, oh, okay. And I thought, I'll never call it that. The more people I ran across, the more times I heard it. So I thought, okay, everybody calls it that. So that's what it's called. Everything's got a term these days. I call it oystering. It's the perfect time of the year right now for getting oysters. Just remember, if you guys are going out and getting you some oysters, make sure you got a fishing license, and make sure you're not pulling it off one of those oyster reefs that you see marked out there in the bay. You see all those white stakes out there in the bay? Somebody's oyster reef they are paying money for. Oyster lease. They're paying money for that lease. That's their livelihood, so stay away from that. I'm sure it's, you know, you can fish over it, but don't mess with their oysters. You'd be stealing from some guy in his family, or it could be some gal in her family. Girls run fishing boats too. So, looks like we're just about going all the way around this thing in just a matter of seconds. And we just need the right temperature for it to dry. Now I'll see how bad this looks up here with the little fur frazzles in it. If it looks too bad, then of course I will sand it down. It will take 2 coats of paint to hide all the ink marks that I've written on here, and that will show up. You'll need 2 coats of paint on it. Find you some oil-based enamel or epoxy would have been better, but I can't find any epoxy in the whole city of Missouri City or Sugar Land. I would have preferred epoxy, but that's okay. We all know what this boat's made with. So it's alright. I have gone out of your viewing screen, right? Nice thick coat of paint on here. It'll be ready. I need to find something, something kind of like Kydex. I meant to look when I was in Home Depot a while ago for some kind of a HDPE plastic. The kind of plastic, you know, kayaks and 5-gallon buckets are made out of. Finding the strips so I can put those strips on the bottom of my skag runners down here. Let's see. Oops. And then that way I don't have to worry about wearing out my fiberglass and having to patch that up later. My pool pump's making a weird noise. It sounds like frogs. So that's not frogs out there y'all hear. Crick, 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 crick. I don't know if you can see that high up. Let's drop it down a little bit. And the heel stuck under the Sawzall. And you can paint it as far down as you want. And I suggest if you're going to say, okay, that's my water line, that's where I want the other color to be, then just go ahead and lap this on over a little further and then you come back and tape it off. I don't know if you can see that, how light that is along there. But it's okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Look, Mom, no drop cloth. Don't mess around and get grounded. I did put a lot of extra fiberglass on the bow part of it, so you know when you go crashing into the bank or hit the top of somebody else's boat, it's a little stronger. But it wouldn't really matter a whole lot if you did knock a hole in it, other than cosmetics, because you know it's all foam. All foam, it's fine. Oh, it'd be nice if I had a little roller pan, but my small roller pan is dirty. And I actually had planned on just pouring this paint out on the deck and going in that direction. How many of y'all stay tuned to watch the paint job? I'm not going to show you the second coat when I get ready to put the second coat on. I'm just going to do it and I'll show you all the finished product. And I may try to paint some scales on it. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll have to see. I thought the scales would look kind of cool, but I don't have any experience in painting scales, so like I said, we'll have to see. Ooh, this paint's starting to smell pretty yucky. Alright, this should get you, there we go. Most satisfying video. Wow, not a run yet. We've only used a third of a quart of paint, so I should have enough. Put a second coat on here. And then if I ever have any damages, I mean, fix the damage and put a sticker over it. I already got one cool sticker from Navarro. The guy does the all the videos on, I think it's Navarro Beach in Florida. I just got some of those floating nuts from him for my wife's pedal drive on her, new to her kayak. And they came fast. I mean, I just ordered them just like a day or two ago, and they already here. Already here. So I'll wrap them up, put it under the Christmas tree for her. No, that's not a kayak for me. That's a kayak for my wife. I'm gonna get me one too. I've been kind of looking, and I think I'm gonna stick with probably the 12 foot for me as well, because they said the 12 foot's faster than the 10 foot. You know, they always say the water line equals the speed of the boat. But if it's not just maybe 1 mile an hour top speed, then top end, then I might just, you know, maybe I'll get a 10 foot and see if she likes it, and I'll take her 12 foot. I don't think she's already attached to her boat, her Christmas boat. Look at that. Alright, how many people want to hang around and watch the paint dry? I see people raising their hands. Let's hang out and watch the paint dry. Mm.